Hi there, here's my guide on how to play Path of Exile 2 Early Access. This video is addressed to all the people who are complaining on Reddit or in global chat wondering why when they tried to play the Meta Warrior build it failed them, and then for GGG to nerf the cheeses in Supercharged Slam and Magnetic Salvo, only to cry out the game is too hard or game unplayable when others are passing Act 1 Final 1 boss all fine just on your own. First of all, this isn't Path of Exile 1. This is Path of Exile 2 Dark Souls Edition. You have a dodge roll for a reason. Do you not like that you're not drowning in loot, killing bosses like endgame Diablo 4 or Path of Exile 1? Well, you're playing Path of Exile 2 wrong. Anyway, Path of Exile 2 has been redesigned with a different paradigm to the original game. Every iconic element of Path of Exile 1 might be there, but it is used in a different way. Unlike Path of Exile 1, classes still have their archetypes, but you're no longer roped into a specific passive tree, skill, or item build. Instead, the only archetype you have to follow are skills. Later in the game, you can morph that base skill set into something else with ascendancies, like in Path of Exile 1. But for now, if you're a beginner, you should follow each class's intended playstyle. Play Warrior if you like bonk bonk bonk. Mercenary if you want to shoot everything like an all-rounded ranged madman with crossbows and grenade. Ranger if you like to shoot everything like Drow Ranger or Ash. Sorceress if you're into magic and to do spells. Witch if you like minions and to just stand there, do nothing or does all the work. Monk if you also like to bonk but faster. If you're still not sure what to do, use the recommended skill gems that it shows you and look for combos. Once you've played multiple classes, you can start to branch out. For now, stick to each class's paradigm. Don't try to use an Archer Marauder, as in Ranger using armor and strength skills. As you know, there are 3 attributes in Path of Exile 2, just like in Path of Exile 1, Strength, Dexterity, and Intelligence. However, these 3 attributes have been dumbed down but made more important. In fact, it is your main limiter of skills. In Path of Exile 1, it interacts with a bunch of systems. But in Path of Exile 2, the only thing it is good for is your item and skill requirements. As you level up, the attribute requirements go up, and you have to keep up with the requirements to keep up with your DPS. So, if you're a warrior, you want to focus solely on strength. If you're a mercenary, it will be strength and dexterity. Ranger, dexterity. A sorceress, dexterity and intelligence. A witch, intelligence. And a monk, intelligence and strength. You know how I mentioned that the attributes are dumbed down? Yep, strength doesn't provide armor, dexterity doesn't provide evasion, and intelligence doesn't provide shield. Instead, your skill levels, weapons, and armor pieces matter the most in terms of being able to survive and deal enough damage. Unlike in Path of Exile 1, where all your armor pieces
and item modifiers
need to coexist with each other. Your skills also don't upgrade on their own. If you get an uncut skill gem, use it to unlock or upgrade a skill. You also get better and more frequently gems as you complete side missions, optional bosses, and progress further into the game. If you're held onto an item for a long time, it's probably time to upgrade. You should look out for armor of your relevant attribute. If you're strength, armor, dexterity, evasion, and intelligence, energy shield.
Likewise for weapons, it's raw damage stats.
Everything else does not matter. You might have a rare helmet with a plus X damage, but between level 4 and 20, its effects are infinitesimal compared to an upgrade to the next weapon tier. Also, elemental damage isn't as degrading as it is in PoE 1. You might also notice that our items are not plentiful. That's because we're not in the brain rot recesses of our Exile 1. There's not loot everywhere, and think of it as having a mandatory filter blade never sync pre-applied to your loot. Items that drop are for the most part close to your current level. The only problem? They're for the wrong class. Do you really need your 1 millionth level whatever you are up to, glass shank or driftwood wand? Sure, it might translate into a chromatic mod, but assuming you are not a witch or sorceress, what use is it? So that chromatic argument, irrelevant here. Also, unlike in Path of Exile 1, we do not have link or gem slots anymore. Instead, it's rune and rune slots. And they're rare, but not so much about the runes themselves. Oh, and you also can't remove them once slotted. Note, you can disassemble junk rune slots to get artificer's shards, which then you can use to add rune slots to an item. Finally, item progression. This exists in Path of Exile 1, but it is more important here
than in Path of Exile 1.
If you see a weapon that matches your class type or armor, you should check it against your current armor. If it's better, you should pick it up. Ignore all the rare prefixes or suffixes. You only care about the base stats. So, have you got a level 4 rare bow or chest piece that you're still using at level 20? Throw it away for literally any other weapon because its stats are probably way too low for wherever you are at now. As for how I managed to get here, Well, I did mention this game is sort of like Dark Souls. Well, so great job.
Gamer.
You've got skill, but it only take you too far.
Because
Unlike Dark Souls, where you can still defeat endgame bosses with noob gear, Path of Exile is a numbers game, and you'll eventually become impossible or impractical for you to keep using your starter gear. But tip, a normal item is way shittier than a rare item. Why are you asking me to throw it away? And you're correct. If this was Path of Exile 1, but this is Path of Exile 2, magic items, or even base ones, are good enough, and you should have plenty of currency items to help you make magics and rares from scratch. You've been doing things correctly and disenchanting your junk, wrong class items that are magics and rares properly. Also, you can a lot more easily make a rare from scratch. You might be wondering, why haven't I mentioned the skill tree yet? Well, it's because it's big and scary.
Yes, it's huge.
Or is it? Yeah, it's big, but it's not as scary as Path of Exile 1. Also, how do you get 11 new skill points sometime during the Settlers of Kalga expansion? I don't remember those being there. Anyway, just build your tree according to your skills, and if you're running out of mana or health or something, a few utility nodes.
can't hurt as well.
A handy key is or if you're on a controller.
Whatever it says on the screen.
You might have noticed that a bunch of text has been highlighted or words underlined on your skills. That's because they're
Keywords.
and you can use them to find nodes on that tree that are relevant to you. If you hover over them, you'll explain the term glossary style, almost as you have no grasp of the English language or have forgotten the entire Path of Exile.
Lexicon.
If you manage to get a major node, plant and remove all nodes based on it. For example, initially, I got these nodes, but if you notice, I also picked this major node, and these skill points could be placed elsewhere. As in, I could make each point more powerful by spending the pointer nodes related to damage or projectile speed, because now projectile speed is now DPS. If all else fails, maybe try going back to defeat an old boss that you cruised past. Or maybe back then you weren't powerful enough to defeat and you're now over leveled 4. Maybe you might discover something like ascendancies. Now that I've given you the answers to clearing everything at least up to ruthless difficulty, as in the first time around the first 3 acts.
Good luck.